Scrappy Kathy here. It's a mixed media frenzy day, and this week we have another Missy Whidden page that we're scrapping, that we're scrap lifting, and I'm looking to get some black ink here. Okay, I've got it. All right, so this one's going to be fairly intensive and using a process that I have not done before, so I have no idea how it'll come out. I have pre-built my photo cluster with an embellishment cluster above it and an embellishment cluster below it, and then kind of what amounts to a title cluster that'll go over here. And I'll show you those in a minute, but what I'm going to do now is I'll show you the supplies that I used and didn't use, and then we'll go right into creating the heart. Now, it looks to me like there's some texture paste, some dimensional medium underneath that color. I don't know if the medium was colored or if she colored afterwards. I really need to go hunt this down and find the video. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brush on distress oxides in these similar colors, and then I'm gonna create some shading there to try to give the effect of dimension, and how I'll show you in a minute how I've kind of divided it up to get those little sections. So first of all, in my clusters, I've used word phrases from the Occasions Small Talk book by Tim Holtz. You've seen me use that before. To divide up the sections that are going to create the little white, the little white areas here in the middle of the heart, I've used this tiny washi tape, and I've used it mostly for card making, but I think it's going to serve a good purpose here today. So I'll put that aside. I've used some fussy cut flowers that I did a while back. I fussy cut a couple pages, or maybe just one page in every single flower, and I've used almost all of them. I think this is all I have left of that page. I didn't use that because it didn't go. I've used these little blue puffy hearts. I've used some wood veneer in school time. It's a school homework kind of a page. I thought I might also use these, but I did not. I've found a couple pages in my stash that are not labeled. I know I pulled them out of paper pads. This one with the labels on it is one of those from the paper pad, and I've used the branding strip part up at the top. You can kind of see the part I cut off here, and because it's got the alphabet and it's a school page, and I just kind of wanted to work that into one of my clusters. So I'm going to put those aside. This paper came from, I used this as backing for one of the photos, from my new paper pad that came in my Mind the Scrap kit. So that's the only new supply. And the butterflies are cocoa vanilla. I forget which collection. Maybe Beautiful, maybe Unforgettable. And this was a page I might have used. I'm working with the Mind the Scrap week 4 rules, and one of the requirements is that your background be at least 50% pattern paper. So I have no problem with pattern paper backgrounds. I've got lots of pattern papers that I've saved specifically to use as backgrounds. This was one of them, but I went with a different one. That one has kind of a greenish tint to it, and that's not what I wanted. So you can kind of get an idea here. I took a piece of white cardstock because I wanted it to be fairly sturdy, so I didn't use just plain paper. And I cut a heart out of it. And I laid the negative of the heart on top of my pattern paper here, which, and I have the branding strip for this somewhere. It is I think a crepe paper, and it has citrus in the name, and I don't, here it is, It is, well, it's not crepe paper at all. It's pink paisley, citrus bliss, and it's old. I'm gonna say it's at least a few years old, and I love it. I actually bought it in a pack of 25 sheets because I knew I could use this white with the little multicolored dots, multicolored diamonds on there. I knew I could use that for a background, and so I will. So what I've done here is I've laid the heart, I'm going to call it the mask. It has now become a mask. And I used my little washi tape to do a Mondrian-like division so that I've got some small areas and so on and so forth. And I wanted a kind of one main line that went all the way across that I could line up my title on, so we'll see how well that works out. So now I'm just going to take the colors on my Distress Oxides. I'll get my pink brush here and kind of put them in random places. And then I'll put colors adjacent that will blend into them. I've got this lighter pink, which is worn lipstick, and I use it a lot, and I clearly need to use my re-inker. I'm using a brighter pink called Picked Raspberry as well. So I'll say that's enough of that, and I'll do the Picked Raspberry and I will let the colors, I'm not trying to keep the colors contained inside these lines at all. I'm gonna let them kind of ombre into each other. My idea is that I will, whatever colors, either the yellow or the blue that I put up next to the pink. The pink is kind of my primary, my main color story here. And whatever color I put adjacent to it should blend in and make, you know, if I put yellow next to it, it'll make kind of an orangey color. And I have some orange in the flower, so I'm kind of hoping that does happen and that it looks nice. And if I put the blue up next to it, it'll make a little bit of purple. And if I get the blue and yellow next to each other, of course we get green. So I'm going to put the pink brush away. I may get it out again, but we'll go with blue next. I'm hoping, I just can't wait for the big reveal when we take the tape off. I think that's going to be amazing. Okay, and as I put this blue on, it's kind of forming the purple I had anticipated it would, and that we all know from our color wheel lessons. But it's also maybe providing a little, I'm kind of using it a little bit to create some shadowing or dimension that might give it a look that it's raised more so than it is, or at all, because it isn't. I'm doing a little blue down this edge here, and then I'll put some yellow here, so we should end up with a kind of purpley color there, and then it'll go to the blue, and then it'll go to the yellow, and then it'll go to an orange maybe. So we'll see how that works out for us. I'm gonna say we're done with blue. It's actually pretty as it is, even with the black lines. I'm really sorry. Well, to be honest, and Ronnie Sue, a scrapper, is the one who selected this for the group to do today. And she confided in me that she wasn't exactly sure. Oh, I have the wrong color. I need a yellow. There we go. That she wasn't quite sure how she was going to do it. And I looked at that for a long time. Before it was selected for Mixed Media Frenzy, I looked at that. I had that in on my Pinterest board. And one of the main reasons I hadn't done it yet was I really couldn't figure out how she did what she did. And I didn't, as I said, I haven't looked into to see the video. Okay, where was that area that I was so proud of having done the blue, and then I was going to do the purple. Well, I'll stick some yellow right in here and let it do what it will. I'm going to maybe put some there and add a little there. Brush. Okay, are we ready for the reveal? Maybe right in here is that area. Okay, so it's got pretty much all the colors there. And I'm hoping a couple things. Number one, that the white really shows up and that it looks like there's a lot of dimension. And number two, I'm hoping that the edge of the heart is defined well. So let me put these up and then we'll do this. The other thing I'm hoping is that all the tape comes up as I raise. It's not really, I didn't want to tear the individual strips off, so I was hoping when I did this, they would come off, but that's not really happening, and I don't really want to take a chance. So I think the white is definitely showing up, and I think I'm going to be happy with that. It may take a minute, and here's where I really wish I did edited videos, but ooh, you know, I just love how those colors blend. You just can't beat Distress Oxides. I'd have to say, with all the paints and mediums and watercolors and watercolor pens and watercolor pencils and all of those things, all of which I love and have used extensively, I'd have to say my go-to, and I guess the reason it's a go-to, or the distress oxides are a go-to, is that I know, I kind of know and trust how they'll turn out. Okay, so I have a little bit of overlap there. This is just turning out great. Okay, wish I'd, well, you know, it's got lots of I was thinking I might go back with a paintbrush and a darker color and add some shadowing to give it that dimension, but I don't think I'm going to need to. I think the blending of the colors kind of did that. And as I look at this, that maybe, and there are lots of other things going on in the original. Let's pull that out. She's got possibly some water spotting in there because there's some gradations in those colors, and that may be something that I would try sometime. I may experiment with that after all of this. And you can guess that I may end up using this mask in a layout as well, because the colors have just gone over the edge, and that's, except for this torn part. That's too bad. Okay, I'm just so anxious to get to see what it's gonna look like when we do the big reveal. I'm kind of hurrying, and whatever paper I used here, the tape tears it. So it's a paper with maybe a little more of a rag content than I'd like. I forget where this white cardstock came from. It's in a stack that I use. Oh, it tore there. Well, you know, that'll probably be covered up by the cluster that's above my photo. That's the only tearing it's done on the pattern paper that I'm using as the actual background for the layout. So I'm happy with that. And I can probably still use this, just because I'm not fond of throwing away pretty colors. Okay, so we'll get this little bit off, and then we'll do the big reveal and finish the layout. Okay, let's turn it back around, and we'll do this. Oh my goodness, that turned out gorgeous. Okay, I'm so happy with it. And look at this, that is cool on its own, and I can grunge that up and do a mixed media piece, maybe put it over black cardstock. I think that would look cool, so you'll see that one again sometime. Okay, so now I put the heart up at the upper part of the page because I knew I wanted a large photo cluster. And here's my photo cluster. It's of Ava doing homework at my desk on top of my yellow cutting mat. And we used to pick her up from elementary school, and she'd come home, and on this particular day she said, everybody made fun of me because I said yay when the teacher assigned homework. She was thrilled to do homework. She was like her older brothers and sisters now. She had homework too. So I love this photo of her, and I put I guess 3 layers behind, 3 or 4, and then I put foam in between a couple of the layers. I used those fussy cut flowers. I fussy cut this out of a different Cocoa Vanilla collection just because I like the word, and the colors aren't necessarily here, but I found a butterfly that kind of reflected that teal, and the teal is here, and the pink is there. So it's not that it doesn't go. I guess that it's outlined in navy blue. So I've got, when I built my clusters, all 3 of the clusters have a wood veneer school. Like this has the book, and this has the pencil, and the other one has the cutest little abacus. So this one's gonna go here, and this one's gonna go here. And I really was hoping that it wouldn't completely cover the heart, so, and it doesn't. I don't know whether to straighten it out. Straightening the photo would be like that. Straightening the journaling gets it like that, and I think I like that the best. So let me get some adhesive on here. I think that's the only thing that's going to touch the background, so everything else is going to be, let me do this. So the journaling says, Ava was the only one in class who said yay as the teacher said homework. So this one I think has a, man, and I used as my basic building blocks in the clusters. Each cluster has a little label. This one has the orangey one, this one has the teal, and this one has yellow. It's kind of covered up by some of the other things, but that was kind of the building block. And then I kind of added those fussy cut flowers. I sometimes had to cut them down. This journaling kind of cluster was added on to that, it left a little space, so I filled that space with another fussy cut thing. So I've just got colorful flowers and stuff everywhere. Now this is that straight line where I want to put my title. My title is Be a Rainbow. And I can see that this thing right here is going to get involved in that, so I may raise it up to here. And if I do that, I can maybe bring that a little closer in. So I'll do that, and then we'll put the title on, and we'll be done. I'll maybe put these letters a little bit closer together. I really hate, maybe I could make that work. Let's see. And they're white, so when they're over a white line, they won't show, but they're a different finish and a different, they're dimensional, they're puffy. Okay, and this area where it tore is not covered up by this embellishment cluster, and it doesn't matter, does it? I love this. And I'm going to do something kind of structural like this, and then try spritzing it with some water to get that water reactivity and to let it kind of bleed into those lines. I think this is going to work. I'm not sure where these alphas came from. I think maybe last month's Mind the Scrap kit had some phrases or, title phrases. Okay, I think I can make it work, or maybe the last part of the W will be obscured, but you'll know what the word is. I want to make this again. I love this. This is so exciting. Okay, so that guy does cover up the, should I cut it off? Or should I cut one of the sections of it off? Let's, nah, you know what? I'll kind of just turn it that way, and maybe I'll tack it down. Just this big section, I'll tack it down. And I like the little diamonds that are kind of spread throughout, and it makes me wonder whether I do need the black dots, but I think colors look better with black or some dark contrast. And I have black in a couple of the phrase strips, and I have that navy blue, so I'm gonna do that. Let's see if I can just get a few. There. And some down over here. Kind of trailing off there, and I've gotten onto my mat. So let me then go over by this cluster and do some here and a few there. Okay. Now, I think we're done. So I couldn't be happier. You know, I love all the colors, and the thing I most want to be in life is a rainbow. So I think this is one of my happier outcomes when I had no idea what I was doing at the beginning. So there we go. And I have to take a perfect photo of this to post because I'm so proud. And I think it's a reasonable facsimile of Missy's gorgeous page. I like that hers ended on the squares and mine ended, you know, mine had a distinct outline. So that's a difference there. But look at the blending of those colors. Okay, I'm gonna stop, and I will thank you for watching and hope you'll tune in next week to see what other mischief I get up to with my mixed media supplies. Bye.